this marketing of services was very much important and whether it is different from other products. This economic activities are being divided into three types. What are the reasons for the growth of this service marketing? So the sellers must concentrate on retaining the existing customers. Hello and a warm welcome to all dear students. I, George William, Commerce Faculty, Department of Commerce, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence. I welcome you all students to the session 1 of Unit 3. Dear students, today I am going to start the new unit or the chapter, that is Unit 3 and the session 1, that is of service marketing. Students, let us understand the meaning of the service marketing. What do you mean by service, right? Or what do you mean by a service marketing? Service means you are doing something, the act or the performance which you are giving to the other person or which you are doing it for another person, right? So that is the service. So here the marketing is related to the service, that is the act or the performance which is being done by one person to another person. Now let us understand about the service marketing. Students, it says it refers to the marketing of services. Here the service marketing refers to the services of marketing, that is against the tangible products. So here you are not going to sell or you are not going to produce any kind of tangible products, right? The tangible products where you can feel, touch or you can have it. But it is an intangible product. Service is an intangible product where you cannot see it, but you can have it in your business. So here it says this particular service marketing, it refers to the marketing of services which are intangible other than tangible goods or the products. Now this particular service marketing, this came into existence in the year 1980s. So it came into existence in the year 1980s. When it was debated. So there was a debate started that whether this marketing of services was very much important, whether this marketing of services was very much important and whether it is different from other products, and it has to be classified as a separate discipline. And they debated that whether this particular service marketing, whether it is of a different nature, whether it is having a importance, and also it says whether it has to be classified into a separate discipline. So this is how service marketing came into existence in the year 1980s. So I'll repeat once again. So service marketing is nothing but it refers to the marketing of services where against the tangible products. That means you are not going to do anything in the tangible products, but you are going to do the services, that is which is of intangible products. And this service marketing came into existence in the year 1980s when there was a debate on this particular service marketing, where they said whether this particular service of marketing or marketing services, whether it has a importance or whether it is very significant to debate on it, and whether it is different from any other products, whether it is different from any other products or the products, and whether it has to be classified as a separate discipline or the separate area of marketing. So here the marketing services is relatively a new area. This marketing services is totally a new area, or we call it as the phenomenon that is in the field of marketing. So in the field of marketing, this marketing of services is a new area or the new phenomenon, right? And it has gained a lot of importance where, that is as a discipline. So as a discipline, as a separate area or a phenomenon, it has received or it has gained lot of importance, the significance, right? And it is only towards the end of the 20th century it has gained so much of importance. So at the end of 20th century, this marketing services, or we say service of marketing, it has gained a very important area or a phenomena, we say, and where it has gained lot of importance towards this particular field of marketing and as a field of, or in the field of as a discipline. Now in the 1980s, as I told you students, in the 1980s they saw a shift, that is they thought about thinking about this particular service marketing, right? and they started to grow and emerged as a significant employer. So during this 1980s itself, there was a thought, there was a thinking about this marketing of services or service marketing, and they said that they started to grow an importance. It started to evolve and it started to grow, and it has occupied an important position, right? And it emerged as what? The significant employers and the contribution towards the GDP. So towards the GDP and towards the employees, it has given a lot of importance, and because of its importance and the growth in that particular field. Now, as I told you, in the mid 1980s or in the middle of 1990s, in the middle of 1990s, this service marketing was nothing but it has enriched a very significant or important place or a sub-discipline in the field of marketing. So, in the field of marketing in the 1990s, it has come to an important position, or it has taken an important position, right? And in the field of marketing as a separate subdivision or sub-discipline, we say. And with its own empirical research, because of its own research and data which has come out with it, and there is a lot of growing and the growth in this particular area or in this particular discipline, and thereby it says it is having a lot of increasing service sector, or it says dominance over the economics in the new millennium. So it has lot of that is dominance in the field of service sectors, as well as it has emerged in the new millennium, that is in 1990s or in the 20th century. Now students, coming to this introduction part of service marketing, I would like to say that generally if you see all the economic activities, which are the economic activities? Economic activities are those activities which are satisfying of human wants and needs. Now which are the human wants and needs? We say that it is food, clothing and shelter. Now these economic activities are divided into three different categories, which are those: one is the primary then secondary and tertiary activity. So this economic activities are being divided into three types. One is primary, secondary and tertiary activities. Now if you see first, if you take up the first one, that is the primary, we say primary activities or primary economic activities, we can see agriculture, fishing and forestry and mining. These are the important things which you can find in the primary sectors or in the primary economic activities or primary activities, because it is with the help of nature you are reproducing or multiplying of plants and animals takes place. That is why agriculture, then fishing, then forestry and mining is one of the important elements of this primary activities. Now coming to the secondary activities, this particular secondary activities also, it is an economic activities which includes manufacturing, processing and construction. So this secondary economic activities are those which refers to the manufacturing of goods and services with the resources which you have. So here this is of the secondary activities, where it says the manufacturing of goods and services takes place, then you manufacture, then it undergoes through various process, right? Then finally we have the construction. So all this comes under the secondary activities. So these secondary activities are nothing but, as I told you, it refers to the activities which are related to manufacturing of this particular construction of houses, or it may be the roads, dams, canals, etc. Then manufacturing of goods and services, right? So all these are coming under the secondary activities, because it refers to this particular activities where with the help of the whatever the resources you have, you are going to undertake these activities in order to see that for the development of the country. So you undertake all the secondary activities. Now tertiary activities or tertiary activities, we say here we see the services and the distribution part. So in these activities we see the services as well as the distribution of goods and services, right? Now what are the services it provides in tertiary activities? That is a tertiary, or we say tertiary activities, it is nothing but like with transportation, advertising, warehousing, right? So like this, there are so many banking facilities. All these are providing the numerous services to the customers or to the society at large, we say. So services today, it occupies a very major part, because without service you cannot do anything. So there is a requirement, and the importance of service is very much important in every day-to-day activities or in the economic activities. That is, if wherever you go, it may be across the globe also, this service activity is very much important. As I told you students, this service sector, this is a very vast and a wide concept. It is not limited to some area or to some discipline, right? So it is a very vast concept, or it is a wider concept, and as I told you, it has been including banking services. We see banking services, then we have the transportation services, then we have insurance services, communication services, then education, employment, right? Healthcare, legal services or legal care, then accounting, tourism, hospitality, health and information services. All these are related to what? The service sector. So you can find the services undertaken under this particular headings which I said, right? So if you go to the bank, you can see they are not producing any goods or services, but they are rendering the services in the means of lending money or taking the deposits, right? And also they are doing various other specialized services like ATM, debit card facilities, credit card facilities. So each and everything, they are giving you the specialized services. So even if you take transportation, there also there is no manufacturing or processing or production takes place. So here they are helping you, or they are helping the manufacturer or the producer in order to produce, that is, whatever the goods have been produced, that to be transported, that is the movement of goods and the men and the material to be transported from one place to another place. So that is also services rendered by the transportation service. Then if you take insurance, it is also a service which has been rendered by the insurance companies for the person who has taken the policy, the insurance policy on him or on the, that is the goods or the property which he has insured. So they are going to compensate on the happening of a certain event. That is, they are going to indemnify on the happening of a certain event. So this is about the insurance. Then if you see the communication, they are providing you the good communication where you can contact whether your friends or a businessman or suppliers, so whoever it is, right? So you can easily contact them. Such a very good communication facilities have been provided by this communication people or the sectors. Education, we are providing you the good education. We are not producing or manufacturing any products here. We are rendering the service in the form of giving you or the knowledge in the form of education, right? Then employment. Employment is also one of the service sector where the employer is rendering the service of hiring the people, then selecting them, then giving them the training, then see that there is a growth and development, then appraisal. All this takes place. All these are nothing but, again, here we see only the services being rendered by this employment sectors. Healthcare, you can see the hospitals. So they provide various services from in the hospital sectors we see, right? Then legal services, that the lawyers also provide you the legal services to the clients. Then accounting, that is the accountant will give you the services of preparing the account, that is the final accounts. Then tourism, it is also providing a very good services whereby taking you and telling you about the various historical places or to the destination where you want to reach or where you want to see about the tourism and the culture and tradition of that particular country, right? Then hospitality and information services. All these are, as I told you, they are providing you the services. So here, services are provided on both profit as well as non-profit. Now, which are those sectors which are providing the service on a profit basis, and which are the services, that is the service sectors which are providing on non-profit basis, or it has been done on non-profit basis? If you take the example I can give you as the education and healthcare, they are not going to do, or they are not going to render service on the basis of profit motive, but they are giving the service or rendering the service on the basis of non-profit motive, right? So they are providing on the non-profit basis only. But while others, other than education as well as the healthcare, leaving this to all the other sectors, service sectors, they are providing the services or rendering the services for the on basis of profit organization or profit basis. Such as you can see the example here, the hotels. So they are also running or rendering the service on the profit motive. Then professionals, they are also running their business, or they are giving the rendering the services on the basis of this particular profit basis, then consultants and solicitors. All these are the examples for the service sectors or the service which have been provided under the profit basis. Now coming to the actual meaning of the service sector or service marketing, we say. Service marketing, it says the term service means, as I told you, the personal services. The personal services which are being provided by the people. It may be like repairing. Now for example, mechanic. If you take a mechanic, that person is rendering the service of repairing your bike or a car, right? In the field of automobiles. So any mechanic, you can see, he is going to render his service by giving or doing this repair works, right? And L service, you can see they are rendering the service like giving consultation, doing the surgeries, diagnosing the whatever the diseases you have. All these are doing in the form of service. Then legal services, counseling, all these are nothing but the service field. So here the marketing people, the marketing experts, what they feel that the problem differently. They look this particular service marketing in a different view or in a different aspect, we say. So they feel that the contents of this particular services are very much wider than what we think. So this service marketing has been thought by where, or it has been viewed in a larger span, or we can say in a wider span by this expert, that is the marketing experts, because they don't think that it is only a small concept, but it is a very wide concept and where it has lot of scope in it. So in 1980s, a person called Berry. So Berry, this person says that what the meaning of service? Service means, according to him, he says the deeds or the acts or performance. So according to Berry in 1980s, he says that is the service marketing is nothing but it is the deeds or the acts or performance. What are the deeds? Deeds means what we do, right? That are deeds. The acts, how we act upon, right? As well as the performance. What are the performance, the duties we do it? So that is what he says according to Berry. So this is a complexity of definition because we cannot define service in a proper manner. It is very difficult to define this particular or to say what is the service marketing. So it increases only when they realize that there is no pure services or pure tangible products. So it says that this definition of service increases what? Increases when one realizes that what? There is no pure service or no tangible products. Now Philip Kotler, he defined this particular service marketing as in the year 1990. He says services are any act or the performance. As I told you, service is what? It is an act or it is a deed or it is a performance which has been done by one party. So where the one party does it and makes an offer on the other party. So it is an act or a performance, right, where one party can offer it to another party. Now for example, if I am a mechanic, then I will be repairing the car or a bike of another person, right? So that is my deed, the performance and the act which I do it. So that is the service. So that is essentially intangible. Whatever the act, whatever the performance, whatever the deeds you are doing to another party from your side, and that should be of intangible products. It should be of intangible products and that does not result in ownership, and that does not relate to the ownership. It means this ownership, whatever the act or the performance which you are doing, that should not be related to ownership, because if you take up the tangible products where after selling it, the ownership transfers from one person to another person, that is from seller to buyer, the ownership transfers from one party to another party, right? But here it cannot be happening like that. It says the ownership of anything. Here it does not result to any kind of ownership. So when you do this act or the performance or whatever the work you do or the act or performance or the deed, then it cannot result in any kind of the ownership is not there of that. So its production or may not be tied to the physical product. So here, whatever the performance you do, right? So whether it is in the form of act or a deed, so that may or may not be tied with the physical product. You cannot tie it with the physical product. Now, one other association, that is American Marketing Association, AMA, we say in the year 1960, they say that services means what? Services are nothing but they are activities. They are the activities, or we say it is a benefit or the satisfaction you get. So according to this American Marketing Association, they say that services means they are the activities, or it can be the satisfaction which you get or the benefits which you get from another person, right? Which is offered for sale. Now, which has been offered for sale means I am selling my deed, my performance, right? As well as my whatever the act or the performance or the deeds, and which have been provided what? Connection with the sale of goods. There is one more definition given by Ansenfield and Richard. So this person, they in the year 1974, they defined this service as what? It is a different view. They are saying that action of an organization. They say that it is totally a action, or we say the performance of an organization or the firm or the institution, and that will maintain, it will see that it maintains and improves whatever the well-being and functioning of that particular people. So this is how the definition of service marketing takes. Now we'll see what are the reasons why there is a growth, or why what are the reasons for the growth of this service marketing. It says manufacturing industries, usually what they do, how they came into existence and how they are growing, because they are manufacturing the tangible goods. So manufacturing industries are growing because they are manufacturing or producing the tangible goods, that is whichever the products, the physical products we say, right? And which is been physically, as well as which is having physical existence, and which is satisfying the human wants and the needs of the customers. So they are manufacturing, they came into existence and they are growing because there is a need for that particular product, whereby they are satisfying that particular products by providing them or manufacturing them or producing them, and thereby they are giving satisfaction, that is in the kind of the physical needs or psychological needs. So as I told you, the economic activities such as providing food, shelter and shelter as well as clothing to the society. So that is why they are, how they are growing. So here the basic need was fulfilled. So this particular manufacturing industries, they fulfilled the basic needs. So whatever we want, the food we got the clothing, and we got the shelter. Now once this particular basic needs have been fulfilled, they say that there was a demand for improved satisfaction, right? So once we are happy with all these basic needs, now we are trying to satisfy little more higher needs or wants, or we say the desires. Now that needs and desires will be given by this service marketing. So that led to the proliferation of variation and of the same product, we say, and lot of companies, they came into existence, and thereby the manufacturing and marketing started to evolve. Now there is a first reason, we say increasing affluence. What is this affluence? See, when there is, it says higher income levels are provided, it has increased lot of income to the people. So higher income levels has made the people to have lot of income with them, and this has generated a greater demand. So because they are having lot of income, and that particular income which they are having, it created a demand for the services. So there the creation of services came into existence because of the disposable income which they are having, or increased income. Here the activities like consumer used to perform themselves. So whatever the activities, like because they are having lot of income, now they started their own activities because the income is there, and thereby they saw that with that income, why can't we do something, right? Why can't we start some activity or do some activity? So that came into existence. So like interior decoration. So if you are having money and if you are well filled and well versed in that particular area, then you can start the interior decoration, or it may be the laundry, then it can be the household products, caring of household products, or it may be like such as carpets or care for the garden, plumbing, electricity. All these are nothing but it is because of the increasing affluence. So because I am having lot of money, I want to do something and I have some that idea, so I will start doing something, the activity on my own. So that is how it started, the reason to grow for the marketing, that is for the growth of the service marketing. Second is more leisure time. When we have lot of time, we think about doing something, right? We'll be thinking about doing something. So that is also one of the reason why there was a growth, why there is a reason, that is for the growth of this marketing, why there is a growth for service marketing. So here the desire to use leisure time for leisure has led to the greater demand for recreation. So when I have lot of leisure time, then I want to spend my time, like leisure time, and I want to convert it into something else. So I want some recreation. So there started the demand for the recreation and entertainment facilities also. So when I am like I have a lot of time, I am free now, so I need to have some activity. So I demanded that I needed some entertainment, then I needed recreation facilities, or it may be like travel resorts. I just want to travel somewhere and I want to get into some resorts or some restaurants, or adult education or self-improvement, like studying on my own. Like, so all these are nothing but these are the reasons why we see that there is a growth of this service marketing, because the second point I told you, that is because of more leisure time. Third is high percentage of women. So you can see in the before 1980s or 90s, women were not been working in any of the industries or in any of the service sectors, right? But nowadays you can see there is a lot of young generation as well as the women's, they are getting into this particular area where they are also coming for a job. So higher percentage of women in the labor force. So you can see lot of labor force of women only nowadays, because if you see the garment areas, there lot of women are working. So because of higher percentage of women who are in as a labor force, it has created, that is the demand for daycare centers, because many are working, many mothers are working in the garment factories or various industries or factories or in the offices. Because of that, they cannot look into or they cannot take care of their babies, right? So they started to evolve that is the daycare centers or the creches we say, or the babysitting or household domestic help. All this came into existence. All these are what? This is nothing but the service which is been provided, right? Because of the higher percentage of women who are in the labor areas or labor force. The next point says greater life expectancy. It means improvement in life expectancy is increased or generated to the greater demand, because we have a lot of, now we have a lifespan is little more. So we think that why can't we do something? So because of life expectancy has generated lot of demand for nursing homes, health clubs and healthcare services. Now we are well aware that we want to be healthy, and for that there is a service which has been providing, that is nursing homes we find, then health clubs and the healthcare services which will be rendering the services, that is in order to maintain a good health. Then greater complexity of products. This is also one of the reasons for the growth of service marketing. It says this particular greater complexity of products has led to the greater demand for this skilled specialist. Who are the skilled specialists? One who are very well, we say that well specialized in that particular field. Now for example, if you take the surgeons, there are different kinds of surgeons who are specialized in that particular area. It may be the ENT, or it may be the neurologist or nephrologist, right? Then or it may be the brain, or it may be the cardiac. Like this, there are so many people in the field of surgeries. There we can find lot of people who are specialized enough, right, in that particular field, and they will be providing maintenance for complex products like air conditioners, cars and home computers. So in the area of different areas, we find different people who are specialized in that particular field itself. So because of this specialist, it has emerged. There is a growth for service marketing and increased complexity of life. Here, this complexity of life, this has led to the demand for specialists of income tax, labor laws, legal affairs, right? Marriage counseling, event management, and employment services. All these are nothing but they are the helping hands, or we say helping hands, or the service sectors where it is created a demand for all this kind of specialists. Because there is a demand for this particular specialist in the field of income tax, or in the field of labor laws, or legal affairs, or marriage counselings, right? And employment services, event management. Because of all the specialists who was evolved or who was there in this particular field, there is a increasing complexity of life, that is in the field of service marketing. Then greater concern about ecology and resources scarcity. So when there is a greater the concern, when you give lot of concern about the ecology, or that is the environment and the resources which are in scarce, so when you take care of them automatically, then particularly we see that there is a growth in the service marketing. So it has also one of the reasons for the growth in the service marketing. So this has created a greater demand. So this particular concern towards the environment as well as to the scarce resources which we find in our nature, so that has created a greater demand for purchase or lease services. That is, it may be the car rental or resort to time sharing rather than ownership basis. So instead of buying it, we are just taking the goods or the products on rental basis. Now, for example, we take the rental cars. We have Zoom cars like this. We have so many other different types of cars where they give it on rent. So we can use it. We can just go and use it, and we can give it back. So lease services, even there are some services which have been provided on the lease basis, right? Then it also resort to times sharing rather than having the ownership. Instead of taking the ownership of that particular products, we can just share the time whenever we want. That particular time we can use it, and we can give it back on the base of lease or on base of the rentals. And next point, it says increasing number of new products. Because of new products which has come into the markets, lot of new products is been coming in day to day, you can see, right? Because of this increasing number of new products, there is a growth for the marketing, that is a service marketing. So this, especially computer spark development, programming, software development, business process outsourcing, all these are started their services or rendering their services in the field of these areas because of what we say, the number of new products which has come into the market. So as you see, the service nature is intangibility. So we know that service means it is intangible, where you cannot feel it or you cannot see it, right? But therefore it says manufacturing and service delivery is more complex than that of product. So this service sector or service industry is very, very complex matter than a product because it is intangible. And secondly, it says inseparability and significant characteristics. Inseparability. So here there is a very important characteristics of this particular service industry where it differentiates the service from a product. So here this inseparability means it is separating. So easily you can separate and say that this is a product, this is a service. So it differentiates the service from a product, right? And according to the simultaneous production and consumption, it depends upon how it is simultaneously producing as well as how it has been consumed. Based on that, it is, you can see there is a growth and development. That is the reason for the growth of the service marketing. Then due to variability. Due to variability means it says it is difficult to control. You cannot control the service marketing because it greatly relies on the service provider. So it depends upon the service provider, one who is giving the service. So you cannot control it. Now if you say, see, today afternoon only I need my car which has to be repaired. But you cannot have a control over him. You cannot say you have to do it. You cannot dictate the terms on him. So here it depends on the service provider how he is going to do and when he is going to give that particular service. Then only we need to take it. So that's what it says. Variability, it differs from person to person, where it depends upon his the provider, how he provides the service. Moreover, when and where and how it's provided. So that is important. How it has been provided, when it has been provided, and where it has been provided. So that is the most important key factor of the element in this service marketing, that is in the field of variability. Thirdly, it says perishability. Perishability means it should be perishable. One of the major characteristics of this service, because it says it cannot be stored or it cannot be used at a later stage. So it is a perishability. It has a perishability characteristics. What is that? It cannot be stored anywhere, right? The services cannot be stored. Can you store the service? No, you cannot store the service. And also it says you cannot use it at a later stage, or there is no sale or no inventory. You cannot keep the stock. There is no stock for the service. Now, importance of this service marketing. Students, let us understand the importance of the service marketing. It says key differentiator. What is this? See, you see, most of these consumers, they consider this particular service, the field of service, as what? It is an important element or the aspect, right? Where in order to judge the product or a service. So that's what it says. It is a key differentiator. So the consumers will look into this and they consider the service as an important element or a significant element or the basis where they can easily judge the product or a service. So they can differentiate it. Example, it says Domino's and Pizza Hut. So everyone knows about Domino's and everyone knows about Pizza Hut. These two are most known and commonly known for the pizzas and the burgers and all which they sell, right? So they are selling the similar products in the markets. Both are selling the same products. But it says, however, the service that we provide to the customers matters a lot. So both are producing the same products. Both are giving the service. But how well they are giving the service. So that is important. That is the matter of concern. So that is an important example for this key differentiator. How you differentiate between these both, that is the Domino's or the pizzas. So some will be liking the service of the Pizza Hut, some will be liking the Domino's Pizzas service. So here you can easily differentiate depending upon how well they are going to give the service or render the service. Second is importance of relationship. What is this importance of relationship? It is also one of the importance of service marketing. It says, you know that service is an intangible item or the product, right? That is, the customer will be able to buy this particular services, that is based on what? Based on the trust and confidence of the seller. So as we all know that service is an intangible product, and this is totally an intangible product where you will be able, that is the customer will be able to buy based on the trust and confidence. So only with trust and confidence you can go to a doctor. Only if you have a confidence and if you have a trust on the doctor, then you can go to the doctor if you have any kind of disease to diagnose it. If not, you cannot do so. So that is the importance of relationship. How well you have the relationship with that particular service provider. So it says the importance of seller is to maintain a good relationship. So what is the importance of the seller? That is one who is providing the services to the customers or to the target market. So it says they should maintain a very good cordial relationship with the people, right? And that is with the customers, thereby listening what are their needs, what are their wants, right? And properly and delivering exactly what they want. So that is what is of the service provider. So they should have maintained a very good cordial relationship among the clients or among the customers, and thereby they should listen what are their problems, what are their complaints, and accordingly act upon it and see that they give a satisfaction result or whatever to deliver whatever they want or the service they want. Then therefore it says relationship is considered very, very important aspect or the element in this particular service marketing, because that will help the seller to maintain a loyal customer to you. So if you are giving a very good service, right? Now for example, you are going to a lawyer or going to a doctor or you are going to any other person like mechanic. Now for example, take a mechanic. So if my bike or my car, if I take it to my mechanic and if he does it properly, if he is doing his service very neatly and I am happy and satisfied with that, automatically next time if there is any problem in my vehicle, then I will take that particular vehicle to him only for the repairs. So thereby you are maintaining. That means it says that the seller, that is the seller or provider of the service marketing or the service provider, is giving you or is maintaining your loyal customer as a loyal customer, and also attract the new ones. So when I'm satisfied with your work, with your service, then automatically I speak about you, and later on I bring my friends, my relatives, all this. So thereby you can attract the new customers. Customer retention. This is also one of the importance of service marketing. So it says, today you can find it is a very highly competitive market, right? In its competitive world, you can, or environment, you can see it is very, very important to retain the old customers rather to attract the new ones. So any service provider, they should see that they should retain the old customers first. Then later on think about attracting the new customers, right? Because it says there is a lot of sellers. There are so many sellers who are providing the services, who are trying to catch the same pool of buyers. So they want the same pool of buyers because there are so many mechanics and they want the customers for them also. So there is not that only A is there as a mechanic. There will be from A to Z, there will be so many mechanics. So everyone wants the customers. So they will be like the watchdogs, or immediately when you put some bread or biscuit, it bounces or pounces on you to take that. So likewise, here also there are so many sellers who will be waiting to attract or pull the customers towards them. So the sellers must concentrate on retaining the existing customers or the old customers, and thereby fulfilling whatever the changing needs they require. So depending upon the needs, the customers has to work on it, and they should provide the service, and thereby they can maintain the very good relationship and cordial relationship, and the loyalty will be there on the part of customers, and you can maintain the old customers and attract the new customers at a later stage. So this will provide the feedback among the among the customers, because when you do the work properly, when you give the service properly, then automatically there will be feedback from the customer side, and whatever the work is given in the feedback, so that will help the service provider to match their wants. So this will be able to retain the loyal customers, right, by offering the increasing satisfaction. So this is possible only when you prepare yourself to retain the old customers and give them the full satisfaction of your service which you render to them. Thereby you can have the loyal customers, as well as you can see that attract the new customers also. The next importance of service marketing says multiple touch points. What is this multiple? It says service sectors, they usually do not provide any kind of tangible services. They do not provide any kind of tangible services, right, to the customers. Now, the customers depends upon the intangible services, such as talking to many people about service before buying the same. So here, the customers, what they do, they will be speaking about before taking that particular service. We will discuss it with the others. Now, if I want to go to that particular mechanic, I said, then first I will ask about in my friend circle or the relatives who are getting the service from him. I will speak with them first and find out whether this particular service provider or the mechanic is good or not, whether he is doing the work properly or not, whether he is doing the service properly or not, whether it is up to the mark or not, whether I will be satisfied or not. So all this I will be speaking with. So the internal services, like talking with many people about the service before buying that particular product or the service. So this will create a perception in the minds of customers whether to go ahead. So in the minds of customers, then they start thinking of whether to go ahead with taking the service from that service provider, right? That is purchase or not. So the multiple points here is very important in order to motivate, what it says, motivate the customers to trust them and also to make purchases. So here it motivates the customers in order to purchase that particular product or the service. The next importance is service proliferate. It means there is a challenge in the market. Because as I told you, nowadays lot of competition is there, whether it is a tangible industry or intangible industry, right, sectors, right, everywhere you find lot of challenges. So there is a lot of challenges in this market, that is the intangible services, that is to the customer markets. They should find out various ways, and means where the market, right, and the product in such a way that it stands out from the rest of the crowd. So they need to find out which is the best one, which is the alternative, right? And find out the various means and ways to find out which is the best service sector or service industry. So here they should invest into various ways, and finally, in order to communicate the benefit of that particular service industry or service sectors to the customers, and finally it says such a language would find easy to reflect the needs and values. So that will help them to reflect whatever they want and whether they'll be able to satisfy the needs and the wants. The next importance is feedback, improve the services. When you get the feedback from your customers, automatically you will take the complaints, then on that you start preparing, you are going to work on it, and thereby you can improve wherever or in whichever field you are lacking behind, or there is improvement is needed. So in that particular areas, the service sectors, they see that they take the feedback from the customers, and finally they will improve their services which they are going to render to the customers. So it is very difficult to match up the marketing concepts, right? Because the service sector with the needs of customers, sellers must work on the feedback given by the customers. Every seller who is selling his service has to work on and go on with the feedback of the customers which has been given. Simply if you just listen and just leave it, then you are a fool, because you are not going to improve yourself. Why you want the feedback? Because you need to improve yourself. That is the reason. So take the feedback from the customers, and these feedbacks are there nothing but they are like a very good suggestion, a very true suggestion or genuine suggestion we say, and are the tips which has been given by the customers to the service sector or to the seller of that particular service, and that will they will work on that, and that will surely help them to match up whatever the challenging challenging needs and desires are there of the customers. So here the sellers, they should cultivate the habit of getting the feedback from the customers, collecting regular feedbacks always, right? Every often they should be collecting the feedbacks from the customers and working upon that on the same in order to improve the service. Last is technology impacts. What is technology impacts? It is also one of the importance of service marketing, because technology means it is a big boon for the service sector, because nowadays there is lot of new technologies, advanced technologies which has come, and every service marketing or service sectors, they need to change according to the situation, according to the technologies. They should not be using the old outdated technology, but instead use the specialized and very good modern technologies in their service field, right? So people like to collect the information on the services before actually getting into that particular service or to get the purchasing them. So here the internet plays a very important role. The particular internet, this internet or IT field, it provides a very important the important aspect regarding about that particular industry or the service. So it plays a very important role here, and they will give the details regarding whatever the requirement is there, that will be flashed out, right? Whatever services they are giving to the customers, that can be directly, you can visit that particular website and you can get all the information, the data regarding the particular services which has been rendered by seller of that particular service. So that will prevent them from talking to many people. So instead of just speaking with many people, you can just sit at home, take your PCs or your mobiles and just click on that particular website, whichever website you want about that particular service marketer or the seller of the particular service, and you get all the details in that particular website. So you will be happy, and if you are happy and you are confident and having a trust on that particular seller, then you can easily go and take the service from that particular seller. So this will help to take the advantage in growing technology and reach to maximum customers with the required knowledge and quality. So this particular technology will have a greater impact, that is on the service sectors, because it will be, you are going to give your advertisement. It is like advertisement, or you are going to give a lot of information about yourself and about your service industry or whatever the service you are going to provide. So that will be totally in that particular website. So anyone can access to that particular website of that particular seller of that particular service industry or service market, and thereby they can get all the details and thereby you can see that you can get lot of customers for your service. So students, so these are the various topics which are covered to you under this chapter, that is service marketing, in the session 1. So I hope you have understood the topics which are covered to you today. So see you in the next class. Till then, take care. Have a nice day. Thank you, students.